Hello, my name is Clyde Lewis, Midwest Education TESOL, Chicago. Today I want to discuss the topic of what is language. Human language is unique in being a symbolic communication system. Symbols are sounds which have meaning given to them by the users. Originally, the meaning is arbitrarily assigned. For example, the English word horse does not in any way physically resemble the animal it stands for. All symbols have a material form, but the meaning cannot be discovered by mere sensory examination of their forms. They are abstractions. A word is one or more sounds that, in combination, have a specific meaning assigned by a language. The symbolic meaning of words can be powerful that people are willing to risk their lives for them or take the lives of others. For example, the words such as queer and nigger have symbolic meaning that is highly charged emotionally in America today for many people. They are much more than just a sequence of sounds to us. A major advantage of human language being a learned symbolic communication system is that it is infinitely flexible. Meanings can be changed and new symbols created. This is evidenced by the fact that new words are invented daily and the meaning of old words change. For example, the English word nice now generally meaning pleasing, agreeable, polite, and kind. In the 15th century, it meant foolish, wanton, lascivious, and even wicked. Languages evolve in response to changing historical and social conditions. Some language transformation typically occur in a generation or less. For example, the slang words used by your parents were very likely different from those that you use today. You also probably are familiar with many technical terms, such as text messaging and high definition TV, that were not in general use even a decade ago. Language and speech are not the same thing. Speech is a broad term simply referring to pattern verbal behavior. In contrast, a language is a set of rules for generating speech. A dialect is a variant of a language. If it is associated with a geographical isolated speech community, it's referred to as a regional dialect. However, if it is spoken by a speech community that is merely socially isolated, it is called a social dialect. These later dialects are mostly based on class, ethnicity, gender, race, and particular social situation. Black English or Ebonics in the United States is an example of a social dialect. Dialects may be both regional and social. An example is the Chinese spoken dialect in written form called Nushu. It apparently was known and used only by women in the village of Yingyang in Huan province of South China. Women taught Nushu only to their daughters and use it to write memoirs, create songs, share their thoughts with each other. While women also knew and used conventional Chinese dialect of their region, they used Nushu to maintain female support networks in their male-dominant society. Nushu is essentially gone now due to its suppression during the 1950s and the 1960s by the Communist government of China. The last speaker and writer of Nushu was a woman named Yang Hunyai. She died in 2004. Not all societies have distinct dialects. They are far more common in large-scale diverse societies than in small-scale homogeneous ones. Over the last few centuries, deaf people have developed sign languages that are complex visual gestures forming or communicating with each other. Since they are effective communication systems with standardized rules, they are also must be considered languages in their own right, even though they are not spoken. In summary, language is a symbolic communication system that is infinitely flexible. Meanings can be changed and new symbols created. Speech is a broad term simply referring to patterned verbal behavior. In contrast, a language is a set of rules for generating speech. A dialect is a variant of a language. If it is associated with a geographically isolated speech community, it is referred to as a regional dialect. And if it is spoken by speech community that is merely socially isolated, it is called a social dialect. You can read more about this topic from Amberg and Voss, 2010, American English, History, Structure, and Usage, Cambridge University Press.